It's a really nicely made little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight. I hope you're well. In this one, we're going to take a look at travel toolkits. So I don't know about you, but whenever I go away, even if it's just for a long weekend like we have coming up, I always like to have some kind of basic toolkit with me. And for years, my travel companion of choice alongside Mrs. 10 Minutes, of course, was this Leatherman tool. It's a great combination of lightweight, decent quality, and a usable set of functions: pliers, wire cutters, a screwdriver with exchangeable bits, and a blade. Yeah, it's that blade that's become the big issue in recent years, and we'll talk more on that later in the video. But I went looking for blade-free alternatives, and these dozen or so separate little kits are what I thought worked well. I want to be clear though, I'm not going down the rabbit hole of everyday carry or EDC. These are just convenient little tool sets you can throw in a bag, a pocket, or the boot of your car, because there's always something that needs tightening up, screwing down, or fixing generally. Let's start with the biggest set here, the Wera Toolkit Plus. So weighing in at almost half a kilo, this is definitely one for the car or motorbike, but it has a very comprehensive set of tools, including a compact magnetic screwdriver handle, a ratchet handle, a hex bit extension, and a full set of bits and sockets. Short of taking the whole workshop with you, this is a great set if you don't quite know what you're going to come across on your travels. And the only thing you might need to add is perhaps a set of grips. Staying with Wera but traveling much lighter, next up is the Wera BitCheck BC7. They do a variety of these smaller sets with different combinations of bits. This one has a useful pair of Torx, Phillips and Posi, and you can always swap out those Phillips bits for a hex if you wanted more flexibility. There's a magnetic holder too, and if you combine that, say, with the Wera 813 handle, you get a very convenient setup and a very compact and lightweight package. If you want to travel even lighter than that, then this angled bit holder is well worth a look. There are lots of these on Amazon. This one has space for additional bits in the slightly brittle plastic case, and the standard magnetic hex means you can also use it for small sockets, the angled head providing a decent amount of leverage. But if you expect sockets to be a big part of your travelling tasks, then maybe consider a ratcheting bit holder. I like this little one because it also has a bit holder in line with a handle, so it's easy to use as a screwdriver, but also has the ratcheting right angled head for extra torque. Or for using sockets, you'd need a hex socket, of course, or a hex to socket adapter like this one from Wera. So there are a few lightweight grips around, but my heart belongs to these tiny Cobra XS grips from Nipex. As you'd expect, the quality is excellent, and though small, they're very comfortable in the hand and easily adjustable to a wide range of sizes. Incidentally, I featured these and some of the other tools in my gifts list videos. They're all in a playlist, and I'll link that down below, as they might also be worth a look generally. I mentioned the Wera 813 compact bit holder before, but if you've got bigger hands or just prefer a chunkier handle, then this Wera Craftform Compact 2 may well be the one for you. It's a stubby driver with a selection of bits inside the handle. Again, Wera do many versions of this with a different selection of bits. This one has straight bits, Phillips and Posi. Stubby drivers can be a bit, well, stubby, but if you combine this handle with a magnetic bit holder extension, you have a very comfortable tool to use. Now, I mentioned at the start that it's the blade component of the Leatherman that makes an otherwise convenient lightweight package a bit of a non-starter on a flight, or even just to carry about your person, depending on the knife laws, where you live and where you're visiting. For example, here in the UK, any blade that locks, you need to have good reason to carry. So if you are stopped and searched and found to be carrying a locking blade, you need to have a reason for that. Otherwise, it would be a court that would be deciding that for you. All things considered, I personally don't travel with any kind of blade anymore. The kind of places I travel to, I can always buy one if I need one. A cheap utility knife usually does the job just fine. But while bearing all that in mind, let's have a quick look at knives and blades. My daily driver was always the Stanley Quick Slide, a simple utility knife that's very slim when you remove the belt clip. This is an original, now discontinued, but there is a current version available. We'll link that up down below, as there will be to all the tools featured today. The Quick Slide isn't the lightest of knives, but it's simple and robust, and the blades can be picked up pretty much anywhere. If you do prefer a pocket knife, then this Victorinox has a non-locking blade of under 3 inches, so legal to carry here in the UK, and is extremely light at just 40 grams. Obviously a no-no on a flight, but fine for a checked bag. And slightly left of field and very much dependent on what you want the knife for, but this Japanese Alpha stainless steel graphics knife weighs in at just 15 grams. The snap-off blade always ensures that you have a sharp edge available, and that 30-degree point, that's the graphics part, that point is very useful and really makes a big difference, turning this into more of a snap-off scalpel than a mere mini utility knife. And let's finish up with a couple of all-in-ones. First, this utility key, a tiny keyring utility shaped like a key that folds out to a mini blade with straight and serrated edges, a small Phillips screwdriver, a bottle opener, and a small slotted screwdriver. The blade makes this non-flight safe, of course, but I have to confess there's been a couple of occasions where I've forgotten about it and it's gone through security alongside my keys without any issues. And finally, let's have a look at what's become my main blade-free travel multi-tool from camera accessory maker SmallRig. The SmallRig folding tool set has a large, flat and small Phillips screwdrivers, a T25 Torx 2.5, 3, 4 and 3/16 inch hex drivers, and a set of threaded holes in the handle to store grub screws in M2.5, 3, 4 and 5, and 2 quarter 20 threaded holes as well. Photographers will recognise that thread size, I'm sure. It's a really nicely made little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight screwdriver, though I do know a couple of guys who've ground down the tip of the 2.5mm hex to make that work in a pinch, and I may well do that to mine. Combine this SmallRig set with the Knipex Cobra XS grips and you have a package that's the same weight as the Leatherman Skelly tool, but separated out so you can hold that nut in place whilst using a driver to tighten it up, something that's just not possible with a Leatherman-style multi-tool. So there you go, a dozen or so tool sets for the traveller who tinkers, and something there for everyone regardless of how much or how little you fancy spending. I'll call this one done for now though. Thanks so much for taking a look. Be sure to let me know in the comments if there's anything that you think that I've missed that you might have added to this list, and if you are heading out on a trip, well, safe travels, and I'll see you again when you get back. Alright, take care. It's a really nice little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight screwdriver shaped like a key that folds out to a mini blade with a straight and serrated edge, a small Phillips screwdriver, a bottle opener, a small Phillips screwdriver, a bottle opener, shaped like a key that folds out to a mini blade with straight and serrated edges, a small Phillips screwdriver, a bottle opener, a small slotted screwdriver. It's a really nice little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight. It's a really nicely made little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight screwdriver, though I do have. It's a really nicely made little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight. It's a really nicely made little blade-free tool set, with the only thing missing perhaps being a small straight screwdriver, though I do know a couple of guys who've ground down the tip of the 2.5mm hex to make that work in a pinch, and I may well do that to mine. Combine this SmallRig set with the Knipex Cobra XS grips and you have a package that's the same weight as the Leatherman Skelly tool, but separated out.